It is 5 o'clock, so we will go ahead and begin our meeting. As our custom tradition, we will start this meeting with a moment of silent reflection and/or personal prayer for the things that are going on within our system and our state, our county, and the country, and this world in general. So if you will bow with me, please, for a moment of silence. Thank you. And with that, this session of the Jackson County Board of Education is now called to order. First on our agenda is to consider a motion to approve the agenda as it is presented.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Mr. Storr makes a motion, Mr. Gant seconds that. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is yes, and this agenda has been presented. So as you can tell, the first order of business on our agenda is a student discipline matter, and we would like to entertain a motion to go into executive session for that.
I may we go into executive session.
Mr. Gant moved to go into executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. Any discussion? Mr. West? Move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is yes. So we're going to enter executive session, and if you are not part of this executive session, we ask that you exit the room at this time. We have already come out of executive session, so we are ready to proceed with our recommendation. So we have a recommendation from the superintendent concerning student A. I'll make a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation considering student A.
Second.
Mr. Story seconds. Any discussion? Move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is yes. Student A has been approved. Motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation for student B.
I move we accept the superintendent's recommendation for student B.
Mr. Gant makes a motion to accept recommendation for student B.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Story seconds that. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is yes, so that has been approved. The next item is to consider a motion regarding the action of a board member in response to consider a motion regarding the action by a board member in response to the actions of a board member. With that, I move for the board secretary to give notice to board member West of the board's intention to investigate certain actions on his behalf, to provide him an opportunity to respond to the findings, and then to determine whether or not a censure or reprimand would be appropriate under the Alabama School Board Governance Improvement Act of 2012.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. We'll start. Is it appropriate for Mr. West to vote on this? Mr. West?
Abstain.
Okay. Mr. West abstains. Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, so that motion carries. Under announcements, we have a board work session scheduled for the 8th, I think at 4:30, correct?
8 at 4:30, yes.
November the 8th at 4:30. And I think you have,
And Dr. Guess recently was awarded with the 2017 Excellence in Education Award given by the Alabama Council of Advanced Ed. So that's a big honor, and I think we should all give her a round of applause.
fun to recognize Dr. Guest for that and actually see Advanced Ed coming back in for another round, right?
Absolutely.
I know it's a lot of work as a system to get ready, but it's also very serious for Advanced Ed, so we appreciate your service to them as well. Is there any other announcements that come before the board?
I'd like to congratulate the Bridgeport Middle School and its faculty and staff and the North Jackson Beta Club for the program we had last Saturday. Was it Saturday night? I think it was Saturday, wasn't it? Okay, they did an excellent job in recognizing 10 people in the Bridgeport community that went to Bridgeport High School that had excelled in the military and in different phases of the community. And I thought the program went real well, and it was nice. If people had seen that, it was, I'd take it second to the Sports Hall of Fame banquet we had 2 years ago. I'd take that program they had to that. What about Mr. Dukes?
I thought it was a great program, and actually, we had a principals meeting today at North Jackson, Bridgeport Elementary and Bridgeport Middle School, and Mr. Cobb had shared it with our other principals. You know, we kind of encouraged them that it would be a good thing for all of our schools to do. I mean, it's a very good deal, and it was not about athletics. It was about success. And some of us, I believe it might have been Mr. Roberts and myself, one was a doctor, one was a professor, one was a local business person, you know, and a dentist, a veterinarian. It just went on, and just true success stories that came out of Bridgeport, Alabama. And it was a great thing. Y'all did a great job.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Collins. Yeah, anything else? Hearing nothing else, we will consider a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Mr. Story makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Gant seconds that. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself, yes, and this meeting is adjourned.